It's Ken Busby, your cultural czar and a member of the board of the Tulsa Symphony, and we are here today with our musician moment, and we have Jesus Villarreal and his lovely wife, Liza, joining us. How are you guys?
We're great.
Great. How are you doing?
Good answer. Good answer. I'm glad you're great. You look well.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. You too.
Good. Well, you know this new series that we're doing is really a chance for our Tulsa Symphony family to get to know our musicians. So we really appreciate you taking the time to be with us today, and we'll just chat a little bit. I don't know who to start with. One should always start with ladies first, I guess. But you all can answer in tandem too. But every time I think of you, Liza, I think of you as a strolling violinist.
Oh, nice. I love it.
And because you always are so, well, you always seem so happy, and you're always so engaged with whatever you're doing and what's around you. But I just anyway, that's just how my relationship has been with you and with both of you. But so tell me a little bit about your background and how long you've been with the Tulsa Symphony.
Well, let's see. I have, we've both been with the Tulsa Symphony for, it'll be 12 years this upcoming season.
Okay,
Which
almost since the beginning.
Almost since the beginning.
Yeah.
It's easy for me to remember that because I just think of how old is our son. And
Okay.
that's how long we've been in Tulsa.
That's great.
I grew up in Tulsa.
Right.
And played back in the day and everything. And I went to TU for my undergrad.
Right.
But then when I went to UT Austin, that's where I met Jesus.
Okay.
And then by way of Chicago, when our son was born, it was like, let's come back to Tulsa. And we were thrilled to join the Tulsa Symphony.
Well, I know we were thrilled when you did. So that makes both of us. That makes two of us. So
Yeah, we're just sad we missed the first 1.5 seasons.
Yeah,
I think
I know.
there was a half season there
right.
at the beginning, and then we missed the full first season, and then 2008 is when we started.
Okay. And Jesus, so you met at college, met at the university,
Mm-hmm.
and
I wasn't going to college at the time. I was playing with the Austin Symphony. We had mutual friends.
Okay.
So we met at a bar across the street from Austin.
Awesome. Was it a blind date or just
like,
was?
We met at college, but no, we didn't really meet at college.
Okay. Met at a bar.
This history.
Was it a setup or did you just run into each other at the bar?
No, go ahead.
Well, we had a mutual friend who, a violinist, but he was there at law school.
Okay.
But he was a fantastic violinist, and so he hung out with all the music majors. And
Right.
my roommate, who's a cellist, we were playing string quartets, just for fun, right?
Right.
Imagine.
As one does.
And,
Yes.
and then afterwards he said, hey, do you all want to go meet a couple friends? And Jesus had just played a concert with Austin Symphony and was wearing his tux with like no bow tie, and his hair was down all the way down his back, super long hair.
Whoa.
And that was the night that we met. But it took like a whole year for him to have the courage to ask me out. And then once we did go out, he didn't tell me that he was going to go to Manhattan School of Music in New York, like that August. And so he deferred school for a year to see where our relationship was going to go, and didn't tell me.
Oh my gosh.
And then we get together and he's like, oh, by the way, I'm going to grad school. So then we got married so that we could be together. And we thought we'd have to be a year apart in Austin.
Right.
And then he came home like 3 weeks before he was going to go to New York. And he goes, don't be mad at me. I don't want to go to New York anymore. I can't live apart for a year. And I was like, how could I be mad at you? Like, that's amazing.
That is so sweet. Yeah.
It was so sweet. But we had already paid our deposit on his dorm and like for me to fly back. So I know that's why he's like. But then, so that's how he ended up in Chicago, was because then it was like, let's audition
I just
for.
redid my audition for the next academic year. I could have deferred with Manhattan, but Chicago was
A better author, and he got to play in the Civic Orchestra up there,
Oh, sure.
which was amazing.
I bet.
And Liza got the job right away. She was teaching in northwest suburbs of Chicago, teaching middle school.
We were in Chicago for 3 years, and it was just we're so lucky because to be young and employed and
Yeah.
doing what we love, and so it was just nothing but like culture.
Chicago Symphony.
Yes.
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Winters are a little challenging, but except for that. So then coming to Tulsa, for you, Jesus, especially, how was that?
How was that?
I actually liked Tulsa. I mean, as soon as Liza brought me here for the first time, you know, I think we drove and walked down Riverside before that was all, you know,
Developed
before
even.
the development
Sure.
and trail and everything. You know, coming from Austin, Texas, very outdoorsy city, lots of,
Sure.
you know, hiking, biking, walking. It felt very Austin to me
Okay.
when I moved here.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
this was almost 20 years ago before the articles are now coming out saying Tulsa's the new Austin.
Yeah.
Right, right. See, you were cutting edge. You were here.
It was
I
like,
get a test. It feels very much like
Yeah.
Austin.
Okay, well, cool.
Yeah, I liked the town when we first visited. I just fell in love. And then as soon as we moved here, I was kind of found that.
Yeah.
Yeah, been enjoying it ever since.
Well, I'm glad. So how did you wind up or select the bass as your instrument, Jesus?
I actually started on electric bass.
Okay.
My parents bought me an electric bass when I was, probably 9 or 10 years old. And then I played that for several years. My brother was a drummer in rock and punk rock bands in Austin, Texas at the time.
As one does, yeah.
And then when I eventually got to middle school, I had to pick an instrument. And my teacher was like, oh, well, I guess we got to put you on bass, because I was already getting around on it when we, you know, did the rounds and got to try out all the instruments. I could already figure it out.
Sure.
With the note, how to play a little bit. And then she actually ended up being a great inspiration for me at the time, just because a lot of family issues were going on in my family at the time, and I was in the practice room a bunch, even in 6th and 7th grade.
Yeah.
He kind of helped me along. You know, found a private lesson teacher for me, and yeah, just kind of, it was a good fit for me. I already played bass, and you know, the transition from electric bass to upright bass was easy.
Probably not too bad. Yeah. Okay. Okay. And Liza, you and the violin? Did you always want to be a violinist?
I did not want to be a violinist.
Oh gosh, it's now true confessions here. Oh dear.
I wanted to be a drummer. I wanted to play the drums.
Okay.
No, but I was always singing, and I played piano. I took piano lessons from the time I was probably 9 years old. And so piano was my first instrument. And then also, again, public school, when Pete Peterson was my first teacher. He's another Tulsa Symphony musician of the cello section.
Sure.
And he had a wonderful program at Union, which is still a fantastic program. And but my mother, she had always wanted to play the violin, and said, oh, you know, I don't want a drum set in my house, is probably what she really meant. And so she said, give it that first year, and if you don't like it, you know, but give it a year. Well, it took, kind of like Jesus said, figuring things out. I remember trying to play things by ear, using the violin like it was a steel guitar or something on my lap before I even knew how to properly hold it and stuff. And just, and once I got into a group of like a district orchestra or something, and there I am just kind of in the middle of the orchestra thinking, you know, and then again had an amazing teacher, group of teachers who said, you know, well, you can do that if you work really hard at it, and you know, this can be your job. I was like, okay,
I can do this. I can do this. Okay.
Yeah.
How neat. Well, it sounds like you both just really are doing what you love, which is just cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
So have you ever thought about what you would be doing if you were not musicians? Well, I said we could talk about your 911 work, Jesus, because I think that's fascinating.
Yeah.
And I'll bet you most people don't know you do that.
Yeah, it's something that I started fairly recently. For about 2.5 years, almost 3 years now, not this.
Right.
But on top of that, I mean, if I wasn't playing music, I'd probably be a mountain bike racer or a car repairman. I like working on old VWs.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, but I've got lots of things that keep me busy in addition to music.
Sure.
But yeah, I've been working for the Tulsa Police Department for 2.5, 3 years now, and I love it. I mean, it's been, I haven't had a lack of work these last couple of weeks.
Right. Yeah. How about you, Liza?
I like to joke with people that because I have the one hobby in love that is music,
Right.
that I've been fortunate enough to make my career. I married a man that has too many hobbies, so we balance each other out.
Oh, that's nice.
He did B-dubs, and so it's like, oh, cool, B-dubs. Yeah, that sounds great. I don't know. No, the truth is that my mother was a teacher before she stayed home with my brother and me for most of our lives, and then if I'm also a teacher
Right.
at Tulsa Public Schools. And again, lucky enough to be a music teacher, and I get
Sure.
to play my violin every day and
Sure.
hopefully inspire others. But I think that was always in the cards for me, was education, whether
Mhm.
music was going to be a part of it or not.
Right. Right. Well, it's a good calling. It's a great calling. So, my mother was a career teacher, so I have great appreciation for teachers of all kinds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So last question I want to ask: do you have any downtime?
Downtime. Oh my gosh.
Well, we have a 5-year-old and 11-year-old.
So in other words, no. Okay. Well, great. That does keep you busy.
For sure.
It's funny because I think that I just always have loved the academic calendar, and there's something about this long-term balance to life. I have to say it like that because normally right now, if we weren't under the situation that we're in, all of us, I mean, I would be at a school all day, and then we'd
Sure.
have some family time, and then we'd go to a rehearsal for a couple hours. And so it's just nonstop. But in the summertime, things slow down, and it's like you can have days and days and days where there's not a gig on the calendar or anything. For
Right.
me, we're still lucky that he has his job and that we're going to start teaching again, at least
Virtually.
distant learning,
Yeah, or
and
whatever.
figure something out. And so right now, lately, things have just kind of felt like summertime,
Uh-huh.
which is a lot of downtime.
Yeah.
Even with the kids, because we're able to get in the daily walks and crafts and music and reading and just doing all the stuff that I think a healthy person should get to do every day. If they're
Absolutely.
lucky enough.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, listen, it's been great chatting with you both. I appreciate your time and getting with us, and we're going to get to listen to you all do a performance now. So, what are you going to be playing for us?
So I've been practicing a lot more than usual with this whole stay-at-home or safer-at-home policy. So I've been practicing a lot of solo literature, a lot of Bach, a lot of Telemann.
Mhm.
So I think we're going to play a movement from Bach's Art of the Fugue, one of the canons. It's
Nice.
treble and bass voice.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Just because I think Bach, it's a universal language, no matter what you're going through.
Absolutely.
It's not highly emotional music, but it brings a lot of depth to it. I think in this time that we're in, it could bring a little bit of comfort to listeners out there. At least Bach does for me.
Does for me too. I've been listening to a lot of Bach, so I'm excited to hear this. This will be great. So, well, thank you so much. We look forward. We will sit back and relax and listen to your wonderful performance. And again, thanks for your time, Jesus and Liza, and we will look forward to talking with you again soon.
Thank you, Ken. It's been a real pleasure.
All right, take
Thanks.
care now. Bye-bye.
Right.
Thank you.